welcome back. This is Michelle from Michelle's Empty Nest, and today we are going to flip through my completed October daily album for 2021. She ended up being chunky. You'll see she's very chunky once I take off this little ribbon that is holding it closed for right now. And I did beat my self-imposed deadline of having this flip through up by Sunday. I'm pretty sure it's going to be up on a Saturday. I'm filming this on Friday night. So I'm happy to have this one done and dusted and up on my shelf. I enjoyed it. I loved putting it together. I'm glad to have captured the memories, the stories, the likes, the dislikes. I did lose some steam towards the end, but October was a crazy, insanely crazy month around here on several different aspects of life. And so we just, I got a little behind and it took me a minute to get caught up. But I am so glad to have everything in here documented and be able to look back on these stories in the future. So I did use a Heidi Swapp Storyline Chapters album, and mine was already this black and white spotty dot. A lot of people are covering these albums with paper, but I was fortunate enough to still have one of these in my stash. I had several different patterns, but this one worked perfectly, just for that October mood and feel. So I just left the cover, or the color of the cover, as it is. If you'll remember, I did cut out a rectangle and a piece of acetate. It was a very thick acetate. And then, in fact, I think it might have actually been called like a plastic sheet or something. I don't know. It was heavier than some of the other acetates that I have, but I found the thickest acetate I had in my stash, cut out a rectangle just a little bigger, and I've just got this ribbon holding it together to, just kind of help keep some of that glare down from one of my lights over here. And then I sandwiched the acetate between the inside cover and this pattern paper. And all throughout the album, especially more in the first half to 3/4, you'll see lots and lots of stitching and distressing. That's just kind of my style. I enjoy that. And I kind of feel like maybe I have some different styles depending on what kind of project or album that I'm working in. But for this type of thing, I really enjoy having a lot of distressing, a lot of textures, and I love, love, love the messy stitching. Now, let me go ahead and mention that everything in this album was a digital printable. Everything. So there are probably, I think I was up to maybe 8 different collections by the time I was adding in a few at the end of Tracy Reed's newest collection now as of filming this flip through, which is Hearth and Hollow. And so I have all of that linked below, as well as a lot of the products that I use just kind of on a regular basis throughout the album and just in general in my scrapbooking. All of those things are linked below, so make sure to check those out. And if you have any questions or you don't see something, just leave me a comment and I'll get back with you. All right, so let's get started so this thing won't be an hour long. All right, so I layered up 2 papers here, did the stitching. I loved this little cat kind of peeking through the window. So that's what I ended up with for my cover. And then again, layering pieces of paper, different layers of paper, doing messy stitching. And I even went ahead and did a reason why. And I just approached it from the standpoint of, why would a 50-year-old empty nester who has not worked outside the home for over 8 years embark on an October daily journey for the very first time? And so I kind of went through, why would she do this? She's that, she's this, that, and the other. And then at the end I say, she is me and I'm here and ready to roll. And I also included my prompt list. Most all of these albums that I'm doing with a prompt-based stories, I create a prompt list of my own, and I'll generally share it over on Instagram as well. So if there's ever one that you would like to go check out, you can find them over there. There will also be lots of close-ups of all of these on Instagram. I'll have a playlist of all of these if you want to see the process videos. Every page has one. But on Instagram, there's always close-ups if you want to read the journaling and things like that. All right, so then I had a 5 reasons I love autumn, and I just did this little notebook edge because the paper that I chose had lines. And I will say with these digital products as well, I did a lot of resizing. This may have been like a 3x4 card that I increased the size. A lot of times the patterns I'll take, they're meant to be fairly big on a 12x12. I'll shrink them down, cut, paste, or copy and paste, and then group it together, shrink more, and just keep getting it to something where I feel like my photos are not going to get lost. I did do a little dimension on a few things, and here was one on this Do You Believe in Ghosts, or Do I Believe in Ghosts? And one thing that's also consistent throughout the album, or 2 things actually, is I used numbers that were just clear circles and put them onto cardstock, punched them out with a 3/4 inch circle punch, and ran them through my Xyron machine so they'd be nice and sticky on the back. And then I went through some of my Reset Girl stash to use up a lot of these circle stickers and just kind of made that double layer for the number on all but 1 or 2 pages where it just didn't fit. All right, so then my favorite fall snack by any means, hands down, is a Granny Smith caramel apple. Don't give me a red one. I want it to be a Granny Smith, nice and tart. Then I had fall playlist. Excuse me. And for this one, I used just, it's a little bit more papery than glassine feeling, but it's still a nice, really soft bag. And just put fall playlist on the front. And then I have this playlist saved on Spotify. And so I just printed off the playlist and use that. And most of these pages don't have journaling. I kind of felt like they didn't really need it a lot of the time, so I didn't really go heavy with the journaling in this one. My favorite pies, and so I listed these out: pecan, turtle, apple, key lime, and chocolate. And then this one was this is where a lot of the chunk and weight came from, from this book. This reminded me of like a Charlie Brown shirt, and I loved it. It was a 3x4 card, and I knew I wanted to cut it out and use it as a pocket. And then for the weather, I went on to, does it say? I can't remember now if it was like a certain weather station or not. I can't remember. But anyway, I don't think I see it listed anywhere. But I just found things like, average rainfall, the moon and sunrise, and probability of precipitation in October, humidity levels, just all kind of stuff, highs and lows. And for my little nerdy brain, I love charts and graphs. If you don't know, I used to be a math and science middle school teacher. So those things make me happy, and I will love to come back and look at those in the future. Number 7, I did a little cut file, and it flips down, and then I pieced together shapes to be able to create journaling in the same shape as my house to hide it. And it was some family Halloween traditions from when our boys were younger, and then just closed it up with a Velcro dot. A perfect fall evening. Again, I layered a paper behind my photo, messy stitched it, and put it on this gorgeous moon paper, which I thought was, perfect for a perfect fall evening. We're talking about something being in the evening with the moon. And do I think magic is real? I printed this out on fabric. This was just like a little small label circle ephemera piece that I blew up in Photoshop, and did a lot of messy stitching around it as well. And then I did a tag that I made and answered out if I think magic is real or not. And again, the close-ups for journaling, if you'd like to read it, will be over on Instagram. Number 10, this was World Mental Health Day, which fell on the 10th. So this one got kind of confusing and complicated. This is not part of the original page. This is a page, and this is a page. So what I did is I created a couple of different hinges to get everything in here. So there's a hinge here and then a hinge here. So once I got started writing, because I told more of my mental health story than I had up to this point in a public manner. And this is a subject that's near and dear to my heart. I won't spend time on it. I don't want to bog the video down. But if you want to read the journaling, again, there are close-ups over on Instagram. I would love for you to read the journaling, especially if you have mental health issues or if someone in your family or a friend does. I would love for you to read that. I just think everybody's story is important to know, and we do need to end the stigma. So I ended up having quite a lot to say, so I had to make this additional little flip on the front, do some creative maneuvering here to get everything in there. And then I found these on the WHO website, the World Health Organization, and they're just kind of meant to be like informational posters. And so I thought all 8 of them were very good and I wanted to include them. So that's why we ended up kind of with a double flip here on this prompt. Then for number 11 is Halloween candy I love, and then Halloween candy, it said I hate, but I hate to use that word. So I just did love and don't love. And so there's a little pull out. I've made a pocket or 2 pockets by putting some score tape in the middle. So I did the candy that I love and the candy that I don't love. And so those just slide in and out behind my little skeleton card, which was, again, I think a 3x4 card. My favorite scary books, I did kind of like, I guess you could call this a gatefold, and just listed out 6 books that were very scary to me. And I always don't know if favorite's the right word to use there, but they sure were scary books in my opinion. All right, so then that brings us up to number 13, which was a double page spread, and it was for spooky selfies. And so I kind of wanted a grid pattern with a little bit bigger photo. The way that the Snapchat filters are, you know, sometimes you can't really, it's a very long and narrow shot. So I couldn't really make it, you know, wide. It just had to be tall, but it still ended up kind of fitting what I wanted it to do with just a little bit of journaling, because I do love me some Snapchat and Instagram filters. Number 14 was a spooky event I attended, so I made this little vellum pocket, and on the back I put a photo. This was from 2013, yes, September of 2013, me kissing the hunchback, and then I just made this little piece in the middle to say where we were and when. And then this is another photo that I took where they had the fountains looking like blood. All right, do I like carving pumpkins? So I blew this pumpkin up very big, put him on a swivel. Short answer is no, and long answer is still no. It's too messy, yucky, and stinky. I don't like any part of it. And then number 16, this one was the one that I probably struggled with the most, just because the vellum was a little difficult to work with, as far as I think I got it a little crooked up here at the top, and so then it's off a little. It wants to kind of buckle there a bit, but I wanted it to kind of resemble a little bit more of like a fancier type restaurant's menu might be. And so I found this image and put my title inside of it, and it kind of mimicked the little medallions on the paper, and they have little skulls in the middle. They're very cute. And so chili and potato soup are my fall favorite soups. That's really about the only 2 soups I eat. I'm not a big soup eater. This one I changed up to favorite color combo. It said for Halloween. This is really just more like fall in general. Maybe not quite this bright of an orange, but orange with the teals, the blues, the mints, kind of the more modern color scheme. And then if you can throw in some animal print and a buffalo check, I am all over it. So love, love, love this photo. Not my photo, and I did not make it. I mentioned in the video, I found it on Pinterest. There was nothing linked to know who had made it or whatever, but beautiful, whoever did it, very talented. The 18th happened to be on a Monday, which is when I do my currently post every week. I didn't know that when I sat down to do the list. It was just kind of fortuitous that it ended up being that way. And so I pulled out my little currently card that I had made and just included that right into my album, again with messy stitching, and the full page photo that was taken on the same day. And then for leaves, we were a little too early to get to the peak leaf season when we went to North Carolina in October. So I didn't really have a photo that had quite the colors that I wanted in it. So I ended up just going out and taking a few photos in our front yard and just using those. And this is where I switched to semi-gloss at the beginning of the album just because the glossy to me outside, the glossy +2 that I was using outside of the page protectors just tends to show up everything, every little, scratch, touch, whatever. And then at this point, I went down another step to Luster, the Canon Luster Pro or Pro Luster, and I love it. All right, quotes. I was just going to include this one from Anne of Green Gables. I'm so glad I live in a world where there are Octobers. And these two quotes were also in one of the digital kits. So I thought, well, I like those too. I'll just include those. And I did put some very thin foam squares under each leaf. So I I printed this paper twice. I fussy cut out one of them around the leaves and just adhered it straight down in the middle and then popped up each leaf with a little foam square. Something orange, I documented a happy mail that I received from Leilani at Leilani_scraps, where she sent me a little card. And then this was the photo I posted to Instagram, and I just backed them with some jack-o'-lantern paper. And then these were the stickers, including one of her little own cute little custom stickers. So I included all of that in there and just put the envelope and the card right in there. It's kind of hard to put all three of them in there at one time. Let's see. And both of these pages ended up being like completely inspired by and because of Leilani, because on this next page, well, my goodness, what is going on in there? There we go. She had done something similar to this on a 12x12 layout where she took a page protector and just included that to hold her photo. So I knew I wanted to try something like that, but make it be a little interactive. And so this one, I also changed the prompt name from something to on my front porch or on my porch. So I just took a couple of pictures from some of the areas on the porch. I love this knotty pumpkin, warty pumpkin, whatever you call it. Velcro dot there, Avery index tab, used a couple of glitter mixes from the Dollar Tree, mixed them together, and then fuse tooled that shut. It is a Citrus Twist Kit page protector that is it's 4x6 over 4x2, but I still needed to use the fuse tool to hold in those sequins. Then a couple of more photos in a little collage, and then one more area that I chose to include on that day. Best Scary Movies, I used this little tiny cut file, and I only adhered down kind of the bottom outside so that this isn't really a true pocket. It's more of a tuck space, and I just included 3 movies there that can just fit right down in there. Our fall travel habit, we realized a couple years ago that we were going somewhere almost every October for quite a while, or either like a September or November, but many in October. So I just included 6 photos there. My autumnal mani, so I have this one. I use red aspen nails that I buy from Heidi Swap. She sells them and I love them. And so I wanted to include a picture of those. For I Spy Black, I didn't really think about it, but I guess both of these pages were related to Heidi Swap because this was a washi tape that came in the latest Stop the Blur memory planning kit. So yeah, Heidi sells nails. Heidi sells washi tape as well. All right, and I did this one because I need to remind myself not to freak out a lot. This one I didn't do a title for because I wanted my photo to be as big as I could. This is my favorite fall mug. It says grateful, and I kind of did some creative editing and then turned it black and white. So it's kind of got this mottled effect, but yet the photo, the mug stayed nice and crisp and clear white. This one was around here, and so I took a photo of the area above the window in my kitchen where I like to put some seasonal things, and then some of this stuff stays up most of the year. Pretty pumpkins. This is a dough bowl that sits on my dining room table, and so I just held it and took a picture of that. And this is where we're getting into the newer collection from Tracy Reed with the Hearth and Hollow. There was a lot of her October Mood, some of the Harvest Moon, October Mood, and then Hearth and Hollow. I also used some from Syncopation Designs, Saheen Designs, Rachel Designs, and maybe one more. But like I said, they'll all be down there below. This is the page where I had lost my journaling and didn't realize it. And when I was over here putting everything together, I was in a marathon filming event that night, so I didn't want to stop and retype my journaling. So you did not see this in the first go round. So here's the journaling. I just color picked from the same paper I had used to make my rectangles and glued them down, and you can't tell that it wasn't just meant to be that way. So this one was Am I Afraid of the Dark? And this one kind of has a little to do with some mental health issues here as well. So there is that one. And then for October, I wanted to do another pocket, but I did a vertical one just because I kind of like to keep things fresh and different. And so here was the photo I shared at the end of the night. I just backed them all with this same paper. This was from the Cute But Creepy collection. We celebrated my son's 31st birthday. He had turned 31 like 5 days prior, and we celebrated him that day. And then my partially set table, I didn't get a picture of the end of it. And then my husband making us all a bloody, I can never get this out correctly, a Bloody Brains drink. So we had that on Halloween. And then the last page in my book is just a full page photo of our oldest son, Ben. It was his birthday. And I just love that this photo captured the flames actually flickering out. And so I just wanted to include that as the end to my album. So I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough. I tried to talk fast and keep moving. Y'all know I don't do really well making short videos, so hopefully it wasn't too long. But I am moving on now to, what am I doing? My Thankful 30. And I've already got a couple of pages ready for that. And I will be sharing some images for those over on Instagram. They won't have videos. I'm still working on my fall album. And then I'm also gearing up for December daily. So lots and lots of things going on over here. So if you enjoyed this video, I would love a thumbs up down below. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I would certainly appreciate you doing that and becoming a part of my little YouTube family. So until I see you in the next video, take care of yourself, do something good for yourself, and have an amazing day. Bye-bye.